Coach, outside of the 2009 playoff game where y'all scored 3 goals, this is the lowest y'all have ever scored in a playoff game. How does it, feel to know that you have, Matt Vinc in net?
We have a team. Matt played phenomenal, but it's nice to know that we can win this type of game. All right, we're known as I think we averaged probably the most goals in the season per game. So it's nice to see our team win a 5-4 game as well. So not only we can put up numbers, but we can also prevent them as well.
How do you evaluate the way you played that second half, holding that lead, winning the game, but didn't score in either of those quarters?
What was the question?
Could you just kind of evaluate how that second half played out for you, being able to hold that lead?
Well, the plan wasn't to like just hold the lead, and it kind of looked that way. But I mean, it was two tenacious defensive teams going head to head, and both goalies I thought played great. They pressured out. We pack it in a little bit more, 2 different styles of defense, but both of them seem to be working today. And probably the reason why it was so low scoring. And I'm just as surprised as you were. At halftime we weren't say, hey, let's hold the lead. We're up by 2 or 3. It's 0-0, and let's win the second half. I think they probably won the second half.
These were high scoring games, the 2 matchups in the regular season. Why do you think it played out as a lower scoring affair this time?
But the playoffs, the way the refs were calling the game was a little different. It was I thought they let a lot more go. I enjoyed watching the game. I enjoyed coaching that game. It was very intense, and they weren't making those ticky-tack calls, if you will.
Physical defensive play, like right out of the gate. San Diego had those 2 kind of back-to-back hits on Dane. There was a thing with McKay kind of after the play. When you see that physicalness from the other team right away, how does that push you guys to respond?
Well, I'm on the offensive end of the bench, and I yelled over the defensive coaches to make sure. I told them that their refs are letting the guys play, so it made sure that we were matching what they were doing quickly. And they were very consistent, so I was happy with the officiating today. They're letting stuff go. We got to do the exact same thing that they were doing, and we did.
What can you say about those X-factor guys, Nick Weesey and McKay, especially McKay, and the effort, all season long, but especially tonight?
Yeah, well, we have 2 of the best players in the league, in Dane and Josh. But they have a great supporting cast, these ex-players that you talk about, and sometimes they don't get enough credit. And, guys, like you mentioned, Nick Weiss on the defense scoring a huge transition goal. Those are big goals in a 5-4 game, right? So it's nice to get secondary scoring. And if you're going to be successful, you need that extra help. It's like in hockey, those 3rd and 4th line guys need to help out a little bit in the playoffs because everybody's keen on the top guys. So I don't know what the stats are, but I know nobody got more than 5 points tonight. So, the offense got 4 goals, and Nicky got 1.
You played until your 40s. Matt Vinc is 42, and he had just a phenomenal game. I mean, how does he keep doing it year after year, game after game?
He's in phenomenal shape. He can play a lot more years if he wants. And, truth be told, he's a goalie, so he's not running around the floor. But he can play for 5 or 6 more years if he really wants to. I'm glad he's on our team, and he had a phenomenal game today.
Going back to Weiss, what did you think about that
Who?
jab step? Weiss?
What did I think about his jab step?
Yeah.
Well, I know he's very good in deceiving. He broke some ankles on that play, and I was not. Usually, I'm telling them to continue into transition or slow it down, and I was kind of in between because it looked like a 2-on-2, and he just kind of took it upon himself to continue, and he jab stepped, and the guy fell over, and it was a nice finish as well.
17 block shots. I mean, how crucial was that to your defense and holding on to that lead?
And it's part of our defense is blocking shots. I'm sure Dawson was right at the forefront of that. And that's the style that we play, and it seems to be working for us. And, I don't know what we normally average for shots per game that are blocked, but, in that situation where you're down by 1 or 2 at the end of the game, they're going to start, rifling the ball as much as they can, and guys are going to put their bodies on the line, which they did tonight. So our guys do a great job of committing to that.
Dawson had 4 block shots. So did Priolo. I mean, Vince obviously had the night.
Mm-hmm.
What about them allows them to play better as they gain each year of experience?
Why they play better?
Yeah.
Well, they gain experience, and they're accustomed to the situation they're in. They've been in big games before, and they maintain the composure. And just being in situations, having that experience, they're familiar with it, and they don't panic. So, it comes to a point where you can't do it anymore because you're just a bit too slow and too old. Unfortunately, time creeps up on everybody, but they're still doing a great job for us.
How Buchanan's buzzer-beating goal at the end of the half turned out to be the winning goal, and what do you think about the play he made and
Well, apparently the guys were kind of joking around about Dane not being able to make that pass to behind the net. So ironically enough, he did it tonight. And Bucky, the last couple times he's dunked, he's been in the crease. So it was everything just kind of lined up for that play. It wasn't a set play. It was just one of the options off of it. And it worked just to the last 10th of a second. It was close. Yeah.
Being such a rare outcome, I think it was the lowest scoring NLL playoff game in history. As far as coaching goes, right, you know, you take it game by game, you're adjusting, right? What do you take away from this game as you prepare for the next with, I guess, such a low offensive output from both sides, really?
Yeah, I just got, you know, like no matter, like to me, 5-4, 10-9, you know, to me it's the same thing. Like I talk about minimizing mistakes. You know, the teams that makes the least amount of mistakes is usually going to win the game. And I thought they did a great job of pressuring us and forcing us into turnovers, which we're not accustomed to. And they got a few possessions more than we'd like to. We need to learn how to break a press a little bit more and deal with pressure coming out of that game.
Your nephew John is competing in the playoffs right now with the Maple Leafs. I don't know if you've been watching what he's been doing and they've been doing. Do you expect him to be watching your playoff run? And are you going to be continuing to support the Maple Leafs?
Well, I will continue to support John and the Leafs. He is my nephew, and he had a great season, and he's still, you know, performing well in the playoffs as well. He's a sports fan, and he follows lacrosse, and I'm sure he's following this. I'm not sure that he watched the game on TSN tonight. I don't know where he is today, but he has 3 kids at home, so he's a busy man. But he definitely follows us, and he's a Buffalo Bandit fan.
All right, Coach, based on the low-scoring affair of this game, I just want to know if you got to figure that whoever your opponent's going to be, whether it be Vancouver or Rochester, going forward, you got to figure they're going to watch the tape and utilize some of those things against you. What kind of adjustments do you think that you guys got to make heading into semifinals?
Well, it's a different team. They have different players. These guys, we've played them twice before in San Diego, and they've pressed us before, and they continue to do it today. So they have the personnel that can do that for 60 minutes. I don't know that other teams can or do or play that style. If they're watching that game and they try to pressure us like San Diego did, you know, like Toronto, for example, they pressure quite a bit, and we like to attack the pressure. So if they have the personnel to do it, then they might do it. But, you know, I like to say attack pressure, not back off of it. So I thought they did a great job of pressuring us, and somehow we're going to have to find athletes to get by their athletes, right? It comes just down to speed and athleticism. So I don't know who we're matching up against. I don't know that it's going to be another 5-4 game, regardless of what the situation is, but I anticipate whoever we're playing is going to be a good series.
Will you guys be watching tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern? Will you be watching the game tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll watch the game tomorrow, for sure. I'll follow all 3 of them.